Welcome back, Seahawkers. My name's Josh. With me, as always, is Mitch, and this is the UK Seahawkers official podcast, the 12 Talk podcast. We're coming at you after what was an absolutely electric game on Sunday, with the Seahawks flying all the way over to Florida and beating the Jags 20 points to 12. We have got a very special guest, a returning guest, a massive member of our Discord. Richard Blake is going to be joining us. We're going to be reviewing the game. We've got our highlights. We've got our winners and losers, as always. We've got your questions from our comment section, so get them in now. And also, we've got our Discord member musings. But with that, Mitch, shall we hit it?
Let's do it.
Back again, another week. As you can all see, lovely sight of Mitch's bedroom in the background there. Absolutely fantastic.
I could give you something better if you prefer. Let me give you something else.
It doesn't matter.
Let me give you something else.
Yeah.
There we go.
Oh, they're even better. Lumen Field. That's perfect.
Yeah,
Mitch, how are you doing this week, mate?
Doing really good, mate. Work is nuts. Lots of overtime being done, but enough time left to watch some football and come here and talk about it with you two fine gents.
Excellent.
So, can't complain.
And I did see as well, because you sent me a picture, that your fine lady did make you what looked like an amazing burger for game time.
Oh my god! Yeah. Well, usually I'm in the Discord watching the game with our members. On this occasion, we couldn't actually watch it, or I couldn't watch it, so I decided I'd just watch it in my living room with a burger. And my lovely partner cooked me an absolute whopper of a Southern fried chicken burger, and it was class. So
it was stunning. It looks stunning. Well, I was watching it with the members of Discord, having a jolly good time. And our guest today was actually his birthday on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
So
he's old.
Let's not talk about age. So what a way to ring in your 75th birthday. You know. Well, I want to give a very.
Gary? I thought it was Rich coming on, not Gary.
Sorry, that was a massive fly. 36. But as always, I want to give a very quick shout out to our sponsors for the show. We have been very fortunate enough to work with these guys, and they're getting more and more stuff in all the time. So, Flying V, if you haven't tried them, I've got a few pieces of clothing from them now, and it's always great quality, and it's delivered so quick. If you want to try them out, you can. Their link is down in the comments or down in the description there, and you can use our code 12Talk. You get 20% off your order. That's not too bad, is it?
Bang in.
Right. But without further ado, shall we bring in our very special returning guest?
Yeah, let's do it.
Ladies and gentlemen, all the way from the valleys, Mr. Richard Blake. Rich, how's it going?
Good evening, guys. How you doing?
Yeah, fantastic, mate. All the better for having you here. Looking forward to discussing a Seahawks win.
Yeah, it's very rare I get it done on my birthday, to be honest. Well, my sports fandom on birthday wins not usually mixed, so I'm going to take this one.
That's right. They did it just for you. That was it. That was the message that came from Lumen. But yeah, it was an incredible game to watch. I mean, the Jags have been riding high. I think Liam Cohen's turned them around, and that secondary, we all had reservations about it, but the Seahawks came to play. How did you feel about the game in general, Rich?
Well, I thought the defense bounced back, didn't it? Because it was a bit uncharacteristic of us last week, and you could see the fire in Mike's eyes. Can you the way that press conference last week? Yeah. I just knew something was going to happen this week, and to bounce back the way we did was very impressive. Because like Liam Cohen is a very offensive coach. They've been doing pretty well, haven't they? So and people probably think they turned the corner themselves, but I thought, yeah, we stood up to everything they threw at us, really. And Trevor Lawrence had a bit of a torrid time, didn't he? So
Bless him.
Poor bloke.
Never mind, eh? Still one of my favourite things that was sent to me by Danny from our Discord, which was the AI Sam Darnold press conference talking about the blonde-headed Fabio wannabe in Trevor Lawrence. It's brilliant. If you've not seen it, go check it out. I'll try and repost it. Mitch, how did you feel? I think they just sacked Trevor Lawrence again from Chris.
I think we're the only ones that didn't sack him, and we think.
I know.
Yeah, I think so. The three of us, yeah. It was a great. I thought it was a great watch. Defensively flying around again. I think the second choice secondary essentially. On the whole, looked really, really good. Great to see the D line getting it done. With Tank Lawrence back in there, it looks a different D line with him there. I think he already has become a real key to that D line, which I didn't think could improve an awful lot on last year. Apparently, it can. Yeah, and I think we really just got after it. It was a really, really good watch, and it felt like we just got a bit of a death grip on it. Do you know what I mean?
It felt like we dominated the whole game. I don't think the scoreline reflects
controlled it. Yeah,
the game. It was really odd. I mean, I'm going to talk about that Brian Thomas touchdown because I've got some things to pick out on it. But barring some busted coverages, there was nothing there for them. I mean, I was looking through the stats earlier, and they had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people attempt to rush against us, and so many receivers. They spread the ball around, which is a Liam Cohen offense, absolutely fine. But I think there's something like 9 or 10 different receivers got the ball, and yet they couldn't do anything of note. It was just such a good game to watch, and the pressure from the front seven was just chef's kiss. You know, I don't think anyone, as good as we've been playing, I don't think anyone expected that, especially from the first snap of the ball. But before we go too far down a rabbit hole, shall we have a look at our highlights of this game?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, so for those of you that are new, we will always present you our highlights. Obviously, this is discussed from podcasters and sports analysts all around the globe about the Seahawks. But as fans, we pick our own. And there can be highlights. There can be something that needs highlighting. As always, we start with our guest. So, Rich, what was your highlight, mate?
Highlight was, I'm just going to say, the defense on a whole, simply because it was just so impressive. Last week, as I keep going back to, it was a bit uncharacteristic. But as Lawrence has come back in, you can see how much they miss him when he's not there. I think that's a sign of a great player, isn't it? He's, and it's nice to see him get his first sacks as a Seahawk. He had 5 quarterback hits on his own, and then Trevor Lawrence, was it 17 quarterback hits? And that's the most.
33 pressures, I think it was. 17 QB hits. That is a horrible day at the office, isn't it?
I think that's a statement, isn't it, by us as well. So, it's one way I'm really, really pleased with how we bounced back, because I was disappointed last week, because I think it was there for us to win, really. And they've gone away and they've actually ironed out everything, and they've come back and they proved it. So, yeah, absolutely fantastic defense, all of them.
Yeah, we've got a quick comment here. Lawrence was under so much pressure, he can't even enlist Vanilla Ice. Or Queen, take your pick. The defense. I mean, Mitch, you can go first because I've got so much to say about it.
What, in terms of about Rich's point about the defense?
Yeah.
Let's
expound on Rich's point first.
I think that what we tried to do this week was to really dial up the pressure on the quarterback to give the secondary a bit more of a chance, because we got a bit gashed last week because we gave too much time and we couldn't get the pressure. I think this time the reason we were calling more blitz packages was to try and simulate pressure to get the ball out of hand quicker, to give our DBs a chance. And I think it really bridged the gap that was left against the Bucs. And sure enough, I think the fact that the pressure was getting home as well made it look even more impressive. But even if we didn't get as many sacks as we got, we didn't get as many QB hits, getting the ball out of hand gave our DBs the chance regardless. The fact that we were actually planting Trevor Lawrence into the turf regularly made that even more potent. But yeah, I think that was kind of a key defensive alteration in this game.
Yeah, I think it goes to show sort of the mastery of the defense that Mike McDonald has. So even though he's putting these players out, we know, and I think the league Tampa Bay certainly knew last week that we were under strength in that secondary. And after that game, like Mike Mack came out and said, I need to do better. It's on me. I need to do a better job to make sure that we're not putting pressure on secondary, the linebackers, anyone like that. And he did it. He adjusted well this week. Having Tank Lawrence back, obviously, it paid dividends, and you see how well he did throughout that whole game. And I thought it was a masterclass in how to adjust based on your personnel and putting that pressure in Lawrence's face. I mean, when you look at the 10 different receivers, none of them went for high yardage. It was all dink and dunk stuff, him desperate trying to get the ball out as quickly as possible because he was staring down the barrel of a gun every single snap. 33 pressures, 17 hits. No more needs to be said, really, does it? Right. With that, Mitch, what was your highlight, sir?
I've gone back and forth. On this, but which is, I think my highlight is also Rich's highlight. So correct me if I'm wrong, Rich. JSN's touchdown was yours. Do you want to do yours then, and I'll pick a different one because you've obviously already thought about this. But JSN's touchdown was going to be mine.
Yeah. I just he's been absolutely brilliant, isn't he, JSN? I think now we can start talking now that he's right up there in the wide receiver department in my eyes across the league. Media outlets outside of like the Seahawks bubble, for example, are all bigging him up as well. He's hitting all the prime time programs. They're all talking about him, but it's just the way he gets away and just finds that space. His route running is just off a scale. Some of them in that game were just brilliant. That throw, absolutely incredible. And the thing is, the pace he had to get onto that as well was just really impressive. He's leveled up. And that proves it, I think, scoring something like that, because we needed that at that point, because we were shutting over. We needed something as well, just to show our dominance really on the scoreboard. So yeah, really impressive.
He had an unbelievable game altogether. I think I can't remember how many yards it was off the top of my head. I think it was just shy of 160. I want to say 156, but that might be just.
He had 162 yards off 8 receptions.
Okay. Yeah, so and I think when you look at the kind of receptions he made, there was out routes and toe tapping, and there was separation that reminded me of Doug Baldwin as well. You used to see Doug Baldwin just bamboozling people at the line of scrimmage and immediately just getting separation that couldn't be recovered. Well, JSN seems to just be playing on his own at times. It's a miracle how much space he gets. He's a master. He's becoming he always was good, but at this level, he is now a master at it, and I think that's the difference. One of his receptions, I looked at it, and there was almost like a triple move in there. He faked one way and then went the other way, and then just as he'd done it, because the ball wasn't out of hand yet, he went and cut the original way, and Darnold still hit him. It was like just tangling feet, and snapping ankles. It's crazy. I now wonder just where JSN ranks in the league. Are we going to see JSN as a must-have top 3 pick every year in fantasy leagues? Is he now that guy? Like,
I think he's getting up there. The season's still young. I mean, he's on pace. Someone said he was on pace for 1,000 something. I've just worked out on the averages of what he's sort of. So currently, he's on 696 yards from 6 games.
Just a few.
Yeah. So divide that by 6, and then times that by the remaining games. That's So he's due for another
2,000.
Yeah, 1,276 yards in the remaining games. So then I've got my classic calculator out here.
Something
Yeah,
like
so it'll be
1960.
1,972 yards if he keeps this pace.
Oh, can I get a shout out for my mental arithmetic there, by the way? I was 10
Yeah.
off.
Yeah, all right. There's me with my old school calculator doing some proper maths whilst you're talking, and then you're just like, yeah, off the top of the dome.
I make that, yeah.
Yeah, I've just got a very quick one as well because I'm really intrigued by this. So Hawkskull has just said, oh, if you click the like button, it turns into a football animation for a second. So if those that are watching this on YouTube, if you click the like button, I want to see if that is true because I'm really intrigued by that. But yeah, I think JSN has just been on absolute tear. He's just unguardable. You know, he is playing. This is Rose Bowl JSN, where he's unguardable. It seems his first step, he's basically beaten someone on a route with his first step, and he has become that true number one. We thought it was going to be a lot of short and intermediate passing, controlling the clock, but Darnold seems to have just gone, nah, screw that. I'll just throw a 65, 66-yard dot to JSN over the center of the field for him to run onto and just score an amazing touchdown. It's so nice to see, and it's something that we're not, well, we were accustomed to with the moon ball, but it's not something we were expecting this year. And can we just have a big shout out for Cooper Kupp as well, getting his first Seahawks TD. That was a beautiful cool route, and the fact that he took it right in the corner of the end zone as he was going out of bounds was just prime Cooper Kupp.
His game IQ, isn't it? His game IQ was off the charts. Cooper. It always has been, isn't it? And you see a lot of noise, Rams fans saying that he'd lost it, and that's why they're happy to let him go. But thanks very much. We're really happy to have him in my eyes because he seems to be the right time, you know. And good example to JSN as well. You know, you could learn off him massively.
The thing we need to look at as well with this, like with JSN blowing up as he is, it's going to get to a point now where every team we play has to evaluate how they cover JSM. And if that leads to double, triple coverage just to stop him getting these balls, because he's had a few in double coverage where he's just come down with it so close to the chest, it's been fantastic. If that happens, then Cooper Kupp and Torrey Horton are going to be in the clear. So the game plan, if this is how it goes, if JSN gets to 1,000 yards this year, and that's kind of his limit because he's just getting, marked out of a game, absolutely fine. If they're going to cover him to that point where it frees up everyone else, I'm fine with that. I'm pretty sure JSN will be fine with that as well. He'll have 1,000-yard season. He'll keep scoring some tuddies, but it will also free up the other wide receivers. He's just become unplayable. There's no wide receiver I like seeing more. Obviously, a bit biased as a Seahawks fan, but there's no wide receiver I like watching play football more at the moment.
We've got to champion it. We've got to champion it because we've got to shout this on the rooftops. We've got him. We're lucky enough to be able to watch him very closely every week. And when he's doing good stuff, let's champion it. People are quick to jump on the bandwagon in the other way. So let's
The best offenses make you pick your poison when they game plan for you. The best offenses have a running back that you can't ignore, a couple of wide receivers, 1 and 2, both X factor players, tight ends that can absolutely tear you to bits. Best offenses have multiple ways to kill you and multiple players that need game planning for. Well, that becomes a real problem when Cooper Kupp gets more space to play in. Do you know what I mean? I don't see I'm happy for them to start doubling and scheming for JSN. He's still going to get 1,400 yards and 12 touchdowns, whatever it ends up being, and it will make so much space. One thing I've seen online a lot this week, which I wanted to brush on a little bit. I've seen quite a lot of people saying that JSN's ego's inflating, and I wondered, is this a chicken and egg situation here, where is his ego inflating because of the success he's having, right? That's causing that taunting penalty where he spanned the ball on the sideline in front of the Jags. Is it the success bringing the ego, or is it the ego he has that he's now confident to show because he's backing it up on the field? Is it the ego that's bringing it, or is it the ego that's bringing the success? Do you see what I mean? Is it?
I think it's always been there. He had the swagger at Ohio State. He had the swagger where you listen to every interview, even last year, where he said he knew he was going to be in the league. He knows he's got what it takes to be a number one wide receiver in this league. And I think now it's a matter of his performances allow him now to show the ego. As long as he doesn't get, I don't think with Mike McDonald he'll get too big for his boots. But fair play to him. If you're playing that well, have a bit of an ego. He's humble enough to say, I don't care what happens as long as we win. Which, kudos to him. But yeah, I think all top wide receivers have an ego of some kind. As long as you don't go like to Antonio Brown with it, you're fine.
Did you think it was soft that spinning a ball after making a reception was a
I'm glad you brought that up, because I thought that was harsh. I was annoyed with that. I think, come on.
So this isn't the only taunting penalty that I've seen over the past few weeks. It all depends on where he looks. If he just spins that ball and walks away, he's fine. But the fact that he looked at the defender who he just beaten, spun the ball and looked back at him, that's what they did him for. And there's been a couple of these where I've seen them in the past couple of weeks where someone has beaten a defender outright, and then they'll throw. I think was it Cam Scatterbo had one the other week where he got a first down, but because he looked at the person he got the first down over, they threw a penalty flag against him. And I was like, it's not like he's sort of doing the DX suck it sign, or he's doing anything like that. He's doing the 3 pumps against someone. Jason's literally spun a ball because he's excited about what was an amazing catch, beating coverage.
Celebrated
because he's looked at the guy as if to say, I'm spinning this ball on you, and then look back at him and been like, yeah, look what I just did. They've gone, taunting. It's ridiculous. I understand the league is trying to be more of a gentlemanly league. Ridiculous in a contact sport. And that's coming from someone who played contact sports all of his life. But there has to be some common sense to it. Unless he's in someone's face, smack talking him, or, he's like throwing up fingers or whatever. Who cares?
But do they want it to be cricket? Do they want to spend half time in a long room eating cucumber sandwiches? Like what level of gentlemanly game are we trying to get to here? Because for me, the NFL is about attitude and competitiveness, and there's a certain amount of that I want to see. I don't want to see too much, obviously, but that was the level that JSN got to with that was so far below the tolerance that I'm do you know what I mean? I'm just like, what are we doing here? It's madness. I'll leave it now because I bore people. This would be like me talking about tackling technique, but which we won't bore people with. But it just
will we not?
We might get there, but yeah, no. I just think it was worth bringing up because it was stupid, and we've seen it twice in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I just think I think it's anywhere near enough to be a taunting penalty. And let's be honest, if the defender got the better of him, I'm pretty sure he would have told JSN as well. So the shoe's on the other foot. It's just it's ridiculous, I think, and it takes a bit of the flow out of it all, because that was a brilliant catch, and if you can't celebrate the catch.
The thing that the NFL and American sports in general has always had over British sports is the celebrations, the characters. You look at who, as a rugby fan, Henry Pollock has just started, when he scores a try, he starts doing this pulse check, which has been widely panned throughout like the rugby circles, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. Let him celebrate. He scores absolute worldies. And it's things like that bring personality into the game. That's something that the NFL's always had. Let players celebrate a good play or a touchdown. Unfortunately, if you look at your opposite, your opposite number, and they're just there, you can't do much about that. If you're celebrating something, you're celebrating something. If you look up and they're there, oh, sorry. Yeah. It's bewildering me right now. I just don't get how that is a penalty. I mean, if anyone's in the comments, if you agree, let us know, because I think it's just verging on ridiculous. Something needs to be done about it. because it's going to get to a point where it's like, oh, well, you tackled him too hard. It wasn't very sportsmanlike. No, get out. Anyway, as I mentioned tackling, see that segue. Mitch, anything else to add to your highlights?
Yeah, so my highlight, in the absence of being able to take JSN because our illustrious guest had already taken that, I'm just going to mention Eminori was out there for the full game, was absolutely everywhere, good and bad, because Josh is going to touch on that. But Eminori, after this game, became PFF's #1 safety in the league.
Which you were very happy about sending me that on WhatsApp.
I was... I'm just saying. I'm just saying. No, I thought. I mean, they mixed him into blitz packages, which was part of this game plan, as we mentioned earlier. He showed that if that's what we're doing, he can play that role. He can be the third linebacker in some packages. He can be the third safety in some packages. He gets sideline to sideline. He's blowing up runs. He's chasing down quarterbacks. When people get tackled by him, he's like an albatross. The wingspan on the bloke, like he wraps you up. Honestly, he has some figure for the game. Like, honestly, when you look at him, he is chiseled out of granite. Mm-hmm. I'm just so impressed seeing him in our colours for the full game. It makes me so happy. And I'll say one more thing about Eminori. I've heard positionless defensive weapon so many times about some players, it drives me mad. And I worried when we picked Eminori that he would be just a sort of like a trinket player that you can't place in special teams and could put him in some packages and didn't actually have a role. Actually, I could see him being an absolute mainstay next to Julian Love now as a starting safety. Looking at that, honestly, scary to see J Love on the back end, Eminori up in the box. You know, mixing it up. He can play both sides. It's just scary.
I imagine I knowing how much Mike Mack talks about Kobe Bryant, I think that he sees Love and Bryant as that free strong safety, pick and choose whichever one they're going to play tandem, with Eminori coming in at will linebacker, the occasional 3 safety set, rushing off the edge. I think it's, as a safety group, it's amazing. It really is, and it's exciting to see. What are your thoughts on Eminori?
Oh, it's just great to see him like making a big difference in that scenario, because when we drafted him, we all had high hopes, didn't we? But you always want to see it come to fruition, and either way. And I thought, yeah, he was very disruptive, and we needed him to be, because we were missing some key players, so we needed people to stand up. And I think he's proved now that he could very well be a mainstay. He's just one hell of an athlete as well. And as you touched upon there, Mitch, it's great to have him. It's great to see him making an impact so early in his Seahawks career, and long with him to continue. So yeah, I think he's been great.
So we've spoke about the good bit of Eminori. Shall I give you my less of a highlight, more of a play to highlight? The Brian Thomas Jr. touchdown, which was the result of a total blown coverage. And I don't necessarily think this was from Eminori's part. So if anyone can remember the play, if you look at it, there was a fake screen out to the left. You had Shaq Griffin, who was in man coverage against Eminori, and the screen, I can't remember who it went out to, but Eminori came in from his position to tackle whoever it was on the screenplay. Shaq Griffin also bit on the screen, and Brian Thomas Jr. just ran straight past them, completely free and clear. Now, I don't know whose assignment that would be. I would assume that it would be Shaq Griffin, but that was just something I wanted to highlight here. That's where you show the difference in a number 1 cornerback and a 4-5, because I imagine if Spoon was out there, potentially Reek, or Josh Jobe, they would have just stuck to the assignment and not bit, because it's just do your damn job, that was his job. Stick with Brian Thomas Jr., and then we could not be talking about that touchdown. But that was just a play I wanted to highlight. There we go. So Bryce Coots from the Hawks Eyes in the chat, and he said 100% Shaq's job, which I thought. But yeah, so it wasn't necessarily on Aminori. He couldn't exactly see what was happening. If his job was to spy that running back on the flat for the screen pass, fine. But I think Shaq blew that play up. And I'm going to talk about it. I know, Mitch, you mentioned tackling, and I'm really sorry to do this, but what was going on with Shaq Griffin's tackle technique? Someone ran at him. He sunk to his knees, and we spoke about this off air. He just sunk to his knees and tried to hit them as low as possible, sort of chop tackling them. But I'll be very honest, if I coached that to anyone, I would anticipate being sacked on the spot. That is an awful technique. In a game of inches and yards, if you're going to tackle someone that low that they can then fall over you for an extra yard and a half, that is not right. And I think if Mike Mack has looked at our tackling and someone's whispered in his ear, this is how we can fix it, because it wasn't just Shaq Griffin that did it, there was a few other occasions, that is something that needs to be sorted out, because that is awful tackle technique. But anyway, sorry. Anyone got anything to say on my highlighted play?
Well, I just think with that tackle technique, I think it's a dangerous technique. It's an injury waiting to happen, isn't it? You know, you get caught the wrong side like that. It's a concussion. It could be shoulder. It could be neck even. You know, it's just, as you said, it's dangerous, Josh, isn't it, really? So, yeah. And as you said, about the yards as well. If you're going to gain a couple of yards off the back of it, then it's no good, is it, really? So, because we're trying to restrict them, not give them yards.
This is it.
Yeah. I was going to say, I know someone who died playing rugby from a ruptured spleen due to an impact to an unprotected area, like the areas you're giving up when you throw yourself down in front of someone's knees when they're running full pelt. There's risk of damage to both people. It just feels reckless and unnecessary. I don't like seeing it, and we see it too much in the league. And we don't have to go that far back to see Chenna Nwosu getting chop blocked in preseason and it ruining his season essentially. So it's stupid, needless, and a shame, because Shaq Griffin was elevated for this game, and there's a few highlights there that are the blemishes on the game, and he's kind of all over them.
He's in the majority. And it's unfortunate, because we do love Shaq. He's obviously there for a reason. But I think, as Bryce quite rightly points out, it was the I'm old and can't tackle anymore, please just fall over me technique.
But it did feel like that, didn't it? It felt exactly like that. And they're gaining yards from it. It's no good for us, is it? So
it's a lack of aggression. It's a lack of coaching. That's all it is. You need correct tackle technique taught to people, showing them how the leverage works from your ankles all the way up to your hips and exploding through. So you've not got to go down to your knees and hope that you can wrap someone up and they fall over. That was my highlighted play. I don't want to dwell on it too much, because it makes me angry as a coach. Really, really angry. So I think we should go on to our winners and losers. But before we do, I'm ready, Mitch, you're going to like this. I'm going to press my magic button. Oh, look at that. Beautiful transition, isn't it? So those of you who may be new to the pod or don't know, we are firm supporters of the Robin Cancer Trust. They're a UK-based germ cell cancer charity. Their aim is to raise awareness for testicular and ovarian cancer in young people. And in the month of November, they have got their big ballsy challenge. You can do it virtually anywhere around the world. You can run or walk 10, 50 or 100K throughout November. Sign up with them. You can earn a medal and just join everyone in the race to save lives from testicular cancer. And the way we're doing that, which is currently being modeled by our guest, we have created some T-shirts for the pod. Our lovely guest, Rich, there is currently rocking this bad boy, the Ooh, to which I have one. We have Spoon, we've got Big Cat, and we've got Jake Bobo at the moment. 25% of any profits made from them go straight to the RCT. And if you want one, join our Discord. Mitch will pop that link in the comments. It's also in the link tree down there. And you could be the proud owner of one as well. You can support ourselves in the pod and also the Robin Cancer Trust. And there we go. All right. So, highlights done. Winners and losers. I love this section. It's my favorite section. With that, as always, we start with our guest. Rich, would you like to give us your first winner?
Yep. First winner is DeMarcus Lawrence. Simply because I alluded to it slightly earlier on. You see how much you miss him when he's not there. I just think he does all that. The stat sheet as well. He's had his first sacks this week, but in general, he might not be hitting the stat sheet on a regular basis, but he's making a big impact and it's freeing other people up in the system as well. But I just 5 quarterback hits as well, highest in the whole team for the week out of the 17. But yeah, I just really impressed with him. And again, can you imagine what you could learn off him with his experience? Again, I keep going back to this like learning sort of angle, but it's priceless, isn't it? All this experience that can get passed along, but he's still got plenty to offer on the field as well.
It's the reason some vets get paid so much.
Well, it's worth its weight in gold, isn't it? Let's be honest. You can't teach experience.
No, I mean, Mitch, I'll let you go on Tank before I do.
Oh, just on the experience note, Rich. If we get to the playoffs, he's going to be fresh out of experience at that point, isn't he? Coming from the Cowboys.
It gives him a bigger incentive, I think.
That's all I have to say about that.
I was going to say, I think you look at what he's done. I mean, we've said for the past couple of weeks that we've had so many issues getting pressure from the edge. Boye has not been it this year. With Derek Hall out, we lack that bull rush potential. When you look at Lawrence, like against the Jags, he had 5 total tackles, 2 sacks, he had 2 TFLs, and he had 5 QB hits. He was everywhere. And his experience showed up. But like you said, it's invaluable having people like that, Big Cat, Jaron Reed on this line, helping to mentor the younger players. I mean, you look at how well Byron Murphy did as well. It's invaluable. It was absolutely fantastic. Who was your next winner, sir?
Cooper Kupp is my next winner. And he's just really happy that he managed to get his first touchdown. Because, again, I think he's a great example to the wide receiver room as well. The ultimate professional, but also that he's always in the right place at the right time. He's catching the ball when we really need him to at certain points this season so far. But now he's got his reward by getting the end of a touchdown pass, which I think was richly deserved. And it weren't too soon. I was hoping he would get one by now, but I'm really happy to see him. But yeah, he's just his IQ, everything. I think the way he applies himself, I think, again, going back to the learning sort of thing, what JSN could learn off him, Horton could learn off him. But I just think in general, I think it's been a great pickup for us. And I'm just really pleased to see him get his first touchdown. So I just wanted to shout him out for that.
Yeah, brilliant shout out. I mean, we touched on it earlier. Sorry, I saw your thunder with that one. I got very excited. Shall we go on to your third winner?
I'm going to pick Sam Darnold. I think we can put the Geno and Sam comparison to bed already, to be honest with you, because it's one of the biggest stories of the off season, wasn't it? Geno's gone. Sam come in. Who's going to be better? But the X timeline in particular was a bit toxic at times between these two. You had your Geno stands. You wanted to see Sam do well. But the one word I use for him is efficient. I just think
100%.
His efficiency, and again, he's been effective throwing deep, as we've seen firsthand on Sunday for that amazing touchdown. But I think I read that his passer rating is the 3rd best in the league. I think that's a great start, isn't it? It's exactly what we needed. We were hoping it was going to go well, but it's gone better than I thought at the moment. But again, it goes to the mainstream media. People like Pat McAfee are talking about him now as well. They're starting to notice how good he's been. People are even turning around and retracting statements that they made that say they made an error because he's been so good. So I just think he's coming up in a lot more conversations, but I just wanted to give him a shout out as well because he's just been efficient, reliable, and he's coming up with the good so far, more often than not. And he's one of the main reasons, obviously, that we are where we are at the moment, and we've started pretty well. And yeah, I just think he's been brilliant, and long may it continue.
Yep, agreed. Mitch?
Yeah. No,
Thoughts on Darnold? Yeah.
I completely agree. I'm just trying to think what I can add, really. I know we said last week when Dan was on that Darnold's catchable deep ball percentage was around 86%, which was a 20% clear, which was 20% clear of second, third, and fourth in the league. And when you look back at those deep balls that he threw against the Jaguars, again, they all gave you a chance as a wide receiver. It's superb to have him fitting the offense. Sort of functionally, he fits it, but he has that arm and accuracy with it, and the timing, and he's now got the protection to let the routes mature before unleashing it as well. Honestly, all of it's coming together, and he looks just the perfect fit for what we needed. They really did go out and get the perfect sort of type of quarterback, and that familiarity with Kubiak obviously has given him that initial sort of momentum. I think it's just been a masterclass. That whole off season, the draft, the free agent pickups. I mean, we've spoken about Tank Lawrence. We're talking about Sam Darnold as well.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking about Emanori. I'm going to tell you about my winner in a second, which is from a previous off season, the preseason previous to that. But yeah, the last two preseasons have been outstanding, I think, and
I think a lot of people are going to say about him as well. How well is he going to do? Is it because the Vikings are so good, like we're around him? But I think he's just proved by coming over to us that he is the real deal. And I think it was a very team-friendly deal, wasn't it, that we had as well? So
yeah.
if worst came to worst, then we had an out. But I'm thinking the way he's going now, I think we've got our guy, to be honest.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, some stats for you. This was the first game this season where he's had a completion percentage under 60%. And it was 59.3. So it's literally a midgie's widge under 60%. He's thrown for 1,541 yards already. 11 TDs, but, highest scoring one was against the Bucks, obviously. 3 interceptions. Absolutely brilliant so far this season. And this game, he was 16 from 27, 295 yards, and then 2 TDs. There's not many more superlatives that we can give him, and because the main media are now starting to catch up to it as well.
Yeah.
So
that's the pleasing part, I think.
Yeah.
Like
it feels like we're just rehashing stuff, even though we've been sort of singing his praises. And he's proving now that he wasn't a flash in the pan last year. He's actually been away, and we said it on the last pod and the pod before that. He's been away. He's eaten some humble pie, like Mitch said. He's learned from these fantastic offensive coordinators. He's sat behind some other QBs. He's learned some good habits. And he's really progressed to become this starting QB. We've actually got some comments that have come in about him. So I'm just going to put these up quickly before we move on. So Hawk School, Sammy D was considered a ball security risk coming to the Seahawks. It was the one thing the national media agreed on where he was worse than Geno. How wrong they were.
Yeah, some humble pie now, isn't there? Mm-hmm. For sure.
Tom, O-line giving him time. 100%. This O-line has just been transformative. Still a bit dubious about the right side. One player in particular, but you can't say a lot better than what he's been doing. And then Chris, scheme memes a lot for this for his high, deep completion percentage. Guys are wide open out there, and it is awesome. It is 100%. So they're your 3 winners. Mitch?
Byron Murphy. Yeah, I love the fact that he's already up to 4.5 sacks in 6 games. He is on track for what, 12.5? No, not 12. It's not going to be 12.5. It's going to be around 13, isn't it? or over 13 sacks if he stays on this pace. And what I love as well is we're rushing 4. We're getting pressure from the interior as well as the edges. We're containing the run as well with 4, and Byron Murphy's suddenly getting end product to his pressures. Although he did, if you remember, he overshot the sack at one point and flew straight over the top of Trevor Lawrence, which is hard to do with a 6'7" quarterback. I'll tell you, he somehow managed to fly over the top of him. So I think was that the half sack he got, because he made contact and then he got taken. He got taken after. I think he got a half for that, but yeah, it could have been 3 sacks instead of 2.5. But yeah, it's really good because he's been consistently getting the pressure this year and getting home as well. That is huge progress. Really, really think that he is a winner on the day, to be honest. He had some TFLs as well, I think.
Yeah. Rich, your thoughts on Big Byron Murphy?
I'm sure that 4.5 sacks, I'm sure that's is that league leader in his position as well? I think he's had
he's got more than
hitters, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, so. But no, one thing I do remember, I was listening to a Leonard Williams interview where he was saying how well that his off season went, and he wanted to see that transpire onto the field now with Murphy. He said he's put the work in, and he deserves to start getting stuff done and things like that. And he's emerging this year. Yeah, and it's been great, and long may it continue. But I've got his jersey as well, so I'm
yes.
So yeah,
but for someone who doesn't buy current player jerseys, I'll say yes to that.
Yeah,
until I pluck up the courage to buy a Robbie Utes one.
Yeah, you've got a Utes one, definitely. But no, I'm just really, really, really pleased with his development and how much he's kicked on this year, because we all knew the potential. Again, I thought he was a great pick in the draft when we did. I was really hoping that he would emerge a little bit sooner, but I'm not too bothered by that anymore, because he's clearly shown now that he's taken that leap forward.
Yeah, he definitely has. I mean, quick shout out from Chris and from all of us at the pod, because we know Byron will watch this. Brand new dad, Byron Murphy. Congrats to him. His daughter was born, I think it was his daughter, 3 months premature.
Thing is, to be able to put that in the back of your mind as well, and play
a game.
That's kudos to him.
That is, like, she's in the NICU unit, and we send the best wishes. Suppose she's doing really well, and obviously he's not playing with that weight on his mind. He's just playing full bore at the moment, which is so good to see. Allowing him to move out of 3 tech as well, I think, has just been a game changer for him. Because where he's at 3 tech, it allows him to go on the outside. He can cut in, and I think that's where it causes so many problems, because people don't know where to defend him from. And he's been absolutely brilliant. My winner doesn't get spoken about a lot in any segments on any pods that I've really listened to. I've chosen Drake Thomas, because I believe Bryce put a comment in earlier saying that he thinks that Tyrese Knight may become a backup. And the way Drake Thomas is playing, the way this organization loves him, I think he could very soon supersede him. 9 total tackles. He had the sack. He's had a TFL. He had a pass defense, and he had a QB hit. That sack was it was like lightning through a gap. It was so good to see. And I think he's just been solid. You see him, a lot of the big plays that happen around the middle of the field, Drake Thomas is in or around it, which is what you want. He may not be the main contributor, but he's always going to be there to mop it up. And when you play next to someone like Ernest Jones, that's kind of what you need. So Drake Thomas, I thought he's been fantastic so far. Stepping into that role when Knight went out. Still think that we might be in the market for a middle linebacker before the trade deadline, but he is fighting hammer and tong to keep that position and make it his own. And he's been with this organization that long that I think, it might be his time.
Like it.
Rich, your thought on Thomas?
Yeah, it's been really pleasing to see that. As you said, you just listed all his accomplishments from the game there, Josh. It's just really pleasing to see him come through with that. And again, he deserved to have at least a chance to see what he can do. And yeah, he's taken it with both our hands, really, isn't he? And I just think he's a disruptor, and the speed. I was really surprised how quick that was on the weekend, to be honest with you. And yeah, I just think good for him, and long may it continue again. And if we are out there looking for somebody, at least he's putting his foot forward to say, hang on, I'm still here. So, and yeah, with Tyrese Knight as well again, whoever plays better for me goes in. And, if you're consistent, then good for you.
Yeah, interesting stat here from Bryce. Only 2 snaps all game versus the Jags for Knight, and that was when Thomas was hurt. He's already taken the job. And if that's the case, and Mike Mack has seen it and gone, I think he's a better fit for this. Knight was fantastic last year, but he's regressed a bit. He might need a bit more coaching to get to the level we want him to. All power to him. I'm a big fan of what he's been putting on tape. Mitch?
It's history repeating, isn't it? Because you look back to last year and it was Dodson getting traded and then Tyrese Knight over to you. And then now it's Drake Thomas stepping in with Tyrese Knight out for Tyrese Knight was injured at the beginning of the season and some of preseason, wasn't he? And Thomas has really sort of made the most of that opportunity. And I mean, Tyrese Knight's on a rookie contract. He will now become the backup, I think, until he gets his next opportunity to come in and show what he can do again. But Thomas has deserved it, and he's taken that chance, and it's his spot to lose now for me.
I think it's what you want as well. You want that competition where your Mike linebacker is set in stone as EJ. When it comes to the will, if you've got that competition, it's only going to make them both better. If they're nipping each other's heels for game time, it just means that they need to keep elevating, and that's just going to create better players, like end over end. They were our winners usually. For those who may be new to the pod, if you are new to the pod, feel free to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and like this video. It helps the YouTube algorithm push us out to more 12s. You can also join our Discord. The link's down there in the link tree, or Mitch has put it in the comments. Usually we do winners, losers, winners sandwich. But all 3 of us, our losers are very much in the same vein. So, shall we start with you, Rich? Who was your loser?
I feel quite harsh saying it, but I've gone for Zach Charbonnet this week. I just think he's been a victim of being used for the hard yards. I know he brings the juice, absolutely. He keeps going and going and going. But I think it was his 4th game with a sub 4 yards per carry figure this season. And I think it's 24 yards on 12 carries as well. And I just think, something not quite right with the run game yet, is it? Really? But can't quite put my finger on how we're going to sort it out. But it's going to need to get better, I think, as it goes on, obviously. But I just think he's a victim of being used for the hard yards, really. And then Ken Walker's getting, the other stuff, which is stands out a bit more. I think Zach's just being used as a crash test dummy, really, at the minute. And fair play to him, he keeps coming back time after time. But I just think, that sub 4 yards per carry figure is just sticking in my head at the moment. And I really want to be proved wrong.
Yeah, it's a worry. Mitch, what are your thoughts? I'll defend Charbonnet to till my death. So, Mitch, you go first.
Well, I'm going to back up Rich's point by mentioning my loser because they are entwined. And my loser was Brady Russell, because Brady Russell's had the opportunity to come in and play fullback, and he's been nowhere near as effective as Robbie Oots. And I think the running game was never at any point this year motoring, at full velocity, but it was certainly more potent than it is right at this minute since Oots has gone out. So Brady Russell was my loser, just because I don't think he's had the same impact on our running game that Robbie Oots had. So I think Charbonnet's not a bad fit for the system. I think the way he's being used within it doesn't necessarily allow him to shine. And I think Robbie Oots not being out there has meant that the opportunities are harder to come by.
So my loser intertwines with all this. So I think Charbonnet is possibly the most rounded running back we have when it comes to his ability to hit the A and B gap, full forward every single time. He drives his legs. He has got that burst, not as much as K9. He can catch out the backfield. He's a good blocking running back as well. He blocks the pass very well. My loser's K9 because it happened again this week where he ran off to one of the places sticks in mind. He ran off to the left, desperately trying to make something happen, ended up running back on himself again. And he can't keep doing that. If you want to be an elite running back in this league, run downhill, find a gap and fall forward. Don't try and make something happen off the edge of the O-line, only to be realized you're being chased by a DB, a safety, a linebacker, or an edge rusher as well, all coming at you straight in your grill and just losing yards for us. It hurts us every single time. I mean, he's had one 100-yard game this season. Okay. Job is a lucky boy not to be mentioned here. He is. But we were all sort of in sync on this one, Tom. So he's had one 100-yard game. This game, he had 10 attempts for 34 yards. It is disgusting. He's had 3 TDs all year. And when people are saying, I mean, there was a comment in our Discord earlier about people being sick of Charbonnet and, his average yards per carry at 2.7. He gets those yards because he's asked to do what the scheme tells him to do. Run straight, run hard, hit this gap. Unfortunately, we tend to run a lot to the right behind Bradford, which is a bit iffy, to start with. But when we're running to the left behind Zabel and Cross, we're a lot more effective. Unfortunately, when K9 runs to the left behind Zabel and Cross, he runs so far behind them and so far out from them that he's left in no man's land and has to run back on himself. You said it about Brady Russell, Mitch. We are missing Robbie Oops. Big time. He just gives us so much go forward. He creates gaps. I think he's a fantastic fit for what we need. And I think Ken running behind him be more effective, as was proven in the Steelers game. Same as Charbonnet running behind him. So I think, should we just encapsulate all that by saying the loser for this game is the run game? And it has been for a few games now. It's just a matter of the run game can be death by 1,000 cuts. You just keep going and going and going. You draw that defense in because they're thinking they're going to stack that box and just stop the run every single time, which opens it up behind. But our run game is that ineffective that might not always happen. We're lucky in the last few games it has, but I don't know how long that'll go on for. So sorry, that's me. I'll get off my soapbox. I just can't fathom how bad it's going with that at the moment. Gents, have you got anything to say about K9?
It's tricky. I just feel we're a bit predictable at times at the running game. And I think that's whoever's running the ball, to be honest. We're amongst the league leaders in running back carries. So it's not as if we're not trying, they're keeping at it all the time. And it's just the consistency isn't quite there, a bit predictable. So yeah, it's just, that's what I'm feeling on it at the moment. And I can't wait for it to explode out of the blocks, to be honest, because it needs to happen soon. Yeah,
it does, 100%. Mitch?
I'm not gonna add anything specifically about Ken, but more about the run game. I'm just gonna say that as the season goes on, more and more people are talking about us being dark horse Super Bowl candidates. We will live or die on that by the strength of our run game as we go. If we get the run game going, we are right up there. Forget being top 5 in the power rankings. We're 1 or 2 because the defense is good. Add a run game to that, you're winning. Add a pass rush to that, you are seriously nearly there. And if your quarterback's playing well and you've got the top wide receiver in the league, honestly, what is stopping you winning something? If that running game does not get going, you could lose on any given Sunday, pardon the pun, because of it. So it has to be a key focus getting that right. Honestly, you if you don't focus on fixing that now, this could be a nearly season.
Yeah, it could be, and it'd be heartbreaking as well based on how we've played. So there are winners and losers. We're giving you our highlights, our winners and losers. If you're just joining us, by all means, you can rewind this video on YouTube and check it out. But for those of you who are new and may not know, so we as a 12 Talk podcast are the UK Seahawks official podcast. We're very proud of that. We have been to the meetups. We're going to be in London on Sunday, handing out some UK Seahawker merch because I can't let Jonas be there with the German Seahawker stuff showing us up on home soil. So if you see me and Mitch and Jonas, will be there rocking our Seahawks gear, and we would love to talk to as many 12s as possible. But if you want to become a UK Seahawker, you can. It's £12 for individual, £20 for a family of up to 4. If you're outside the UK, it's £5 postage per membership. With that, you get access to goodies, which I'll show you in a minute. You get our annual meetups. You get 10% discount at the Pro Shop. You're eligible for game day field passes as well. And you get members-only competitions. When I say goodies, this is what we got this year. We got our coasters. We got our 21st year anniversary patch. We got our wristband, which I wear every day. And you get your membership card. These change every single year. I'm going to be rocking many, many badges on my jacket on Sunday. And then you could join us and some of these fantastic happy faces here. This was our meetup in Glasgow. And we're hoping for news on the next meetup soon. So Mitch and I can get that booked in, and hopefully you guys can too. But with that, gentlemen, it's time for our Discord member musings. Yeah.
Well, I love
now, that's it. I thought I'd update it. I'm always tinkering, like you said. I can't help myself. So if you are new to the pod, the Discord is our central hub. It's where people that watch the pod, listen to the pod, we talk Seahawks pretty much 24/7 because we've got members from all over the world. We've now got Australia, Gibraltar, Wales, England, Canada, the US. Have I missed anyone? Germany. I don't know if we've got anyone French in there, but we're just collecting people there, like Infinity Stones.
Yannick, if you're in the comments, where are you from, pal? I swear, wherever Yannick is from, we've missed from the list. I know.
Oh, there you go.
That's another one. I can't remember where he's from. Yeah, comment, Yannick. Tell us where you're from.
I thought Yannick was German. That shows how much I know people. But we allow everyone in our Discord a chance to ask questions before we go live on the pod. We've had to reduce it now to the top 5 questions chosen by me and Mitch. And let's get to them. We'll answer them live.
I was wrong about Yannick. Yannick is German. Ignore me.
It's like I know. I see him and Jonas talking German in the Discord, and I go, I can translate that in a little bit. But the Fab Man, Fabian, the appreciation for JSN I'm seeing today on social media is amazing, especially after so many doubt his ability to be wide receiver 1. Is he now in the conversation for the best receiver in the league?
Yes.
Always. Yeah. Do you think is he going to be best receiver in the league or top 5 receiver?
To be honest, I think with the way he's playing at the moment, there's nobody playing better than him at this moment in time. But I'd safely say that he can be classed as the top 5, yeah. And he's taken wide receiver 1 berth completely into his hands, and he's been excellent, isn't he? You know, he's such a threat. It is him and Sam's little understanding is getting better week by week. I certainly think on current form right now, he's up there for sure. But again, let's see it happen for a long period of time.
Yeah, that's it. I think he's definitely in there in the Pro Bowl conversations, isn't he? Then we've got Jonas, as always, with a paragraph. Cheers, mate. I'll just get my glasses on to read this. That's right. I'm old now. I need them. Seeing how Mike McDonald was able to adapt his game plan with a banged-up defense during the week and how much pressure and sacks he was able to create with that scheme, where just 4 guys rush and a couple of blitzes at the line of scrimmage, is he the best defensive coach in the NFL right now?
Yes. Next question. Go on, Rich.
Short and sweet. Yeah. Go on, Rich.
I just love the accountability as well with him. You could see how annoyed he was last week, and his post-match press conference, and I'm like, he's really going to get this right this week, and it's happened. We bounced back perfectly. I just think his defensive mind is absolutely brilliant, and it hasn't got any limits. I don't think he just keeps surprising me. He's certainly, if he's not the best, I want to know who is. because he's right up there again. And we're really happy to have him. And yeah, I think we're lucky, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, look at coaches around the league with good defenses. Like the Cleveland Browns, as much a dumpster fire as that organization is, their defense is probably the best part of their team. Yet they still can't win games with that. I'm confident in the fact we can win a game with a Mike McDonald defense. And I think that speaks volumes. Yannick, there we go. Yannick von Deutschland, Mitch. Just clarifying that one.
Is he?
Yeah. Our middle linebacker situation still worries me. Do you have an affordable, realistic candidate in mind who can have direct impact on the field? Do you know, I don't have one in mind. If anyone does, pop it in the comments. But as we've seen with Mike McDonald, when he went after someone like Ernest Jones, Cody Barton maybe, bring him back to Seattle. He's a safety in college and then, converted to a middle linebacker. That could be a fantastic option. There's multiplicity there. Imagine that, having him in there as well with Eminari, who can just sort of bounce around. Or trade for one. Bring home Jordan Brooks from Thomas. We want all our guys back, basically, don't we? That's the big thing. I think as Mike McDonald's proved by bringing on board EJ, he doesn't have to get someone who is classed as top tier elite. He can get someone that he knows will fit into his system and be the right guy for him. So we may not necessarily be looking at a middle linebacker one or a will linebacker one on another team. We may be looking at someone on the fringes that Mike Mack just looks at and goes, "You're my guy. I've seen you in college, seen you in the league. I've spoken to you multiple times. I know exactly what you're about, and you can play for us." Oh, here we go. Another couple here, Mitch. Demario Davis from Jonas and from Thomas. Mitch, your guy. Nakobe Dean. Two fantastic shouts there, I think. Right. So there you go. There's some options. We'll have to have this conversation in the Discord and see where we all reach as a consensus. That might be a poll. And this was a twofer.
I was just going to say, if I could pick anyone, Oluokun from Jacksonville would be an unbelievable pick. The guy's an absolute tackle monster. I'd absolutely love it, but I think it would be a king's ransom to get them to part ways with Oluokun. But oh my days, what a pickup that would be!
Yeah, that would be.
He was impressive. He was Sunday, wasn't he? But what about the flipping it on the other side? Would you look to trade one? Like, if you take advantage of a dumpster fire like the Jets, someone like a Quincy Williams, would he be in reach? There'll be a load available for trade this week with some of the teams who lost majority of their games. There'd be a lot of players available. Would you do that? Just to put that out there, maybe?
It depends for me. If John Schneider and Mike McDonald feel we're in win now mode, if they feel this is a team that they can win the NFC and go to a Super Bowl with, then I don't see why not. Devin White, I love that choice. A big Devin White fan. Good shout, that Bryce. But it depends. Me and Mitch said this is a 3-year rebuild. We're in year 2. I think this year, if they're not in the mindset that we can win it all, which there will be anyway, but then they have to have that realistic conversation. I don't think we'd do a big trade this year because Mike Mack is heavily invested in being a coach and coaching these players up. If at the end of this year we fall short, then I think we'll probably see some movement somewhere and there might be a splash. Mitch, what do you reckon?
I think the plan will always have been to use a high draft pick this year on a middle linebacker. We've seen Mike Mack avoid picking up some really good candidates in the last 2 drafts. And I think he sees that linebacker pickup as kind of a centerpiece for what he's building. So I think just targeting the player that is the right kind of player for him in this year's draft and just going after that is the obvious thing to do. But I think if we suddenly look at this and think that we are way ahead of where we expected to be, and the difference could be a corner or a linebacker, I think they'll pull the trigger and do it. John does it every year when we're less competitive than we are right now. So I can't tell you he won't do it when we are competitive. So yeah.
And stay tuned for our draft coverage as well, because Mitch will be all upon that, because you'll be having some late nights with the baby, mate. So all that time.
Yeah. Study some film while rocking the baby. Yeah.
Genuinely, I watched so many Seahawks games with Ivy just in my arm when she was a newborn. Yep. It was lovely. Right. So the last question, like I said, it's a twofer. We've got Gary and Mark. So Gary, the return of DeMarcus Lawrence made a big impact on the D-line group. Marfay does not seem to have made the hoped-for jump in performance. Do you think the team will look to draft some DNs to not only provide depth but competition next year? And then Mark, how good can this defense be with returning injured players? Who wants to take this one first?
I don't mind going first on this one, if you like.
Go, Mitch.
So the reason I suggested we answer these two questions together is the perfect example of how much impact the returning starting players can have on game day is DeMarcus Lawrence coming back this week and just making everything tick. The week that Love comes back to the team, we're suddenly going to be like, oh yeah, he is really good. And he leads this team, and he is the heartbeat of the DBs. And then we're going to say the same thing about Spoon coming back. The fact is, we've got a functional defense that is working really, really well and efficiently. It is fit for purpose. And when Mike Mack really schemes well for our opponent and dials up something with this defense as a scheme for that game, he makes it work regardless of the X Factor players being there. But those X Factor players do one thing that gets you off the field at a key time. They stop teams at the goal line. They don't bust coverage on the right-hand side and let someone walk in rather than making them use every single down, So I think that Tank Lawrence was a great example of just how much X Factor returning to the team can make a difference on game day. So yeah, I think it's huge. Spoon and Love coming back.
Yeah. What are your thoughts? Do you think we'll end up drafting at the end? Obviously, I'll wait for you to do your full draft sort of research. But I know there's Bain, isn't it, from Miami, who's sort of going top at the moment of most people's boards. But I don't know what the depth's like so far. I've not had a chance to do any research myself.
I don't think he'll be there for us to pick at 32, Josh.
Nah. 32. Nice.
Yeah.
And you know what? I'd take that. I'd take it.
No, I think we got Riley Mills sat there in the wings as well. Let's not forget Riley Mills is there, and Mike Morris hasn't been called on too much, but when he has been so far this year, he's looked quite good. So I do think that's a position of interest for us in the draft, and there's a lot of talent there. But in recent years, we've been very happy taking undrafted free agents and coaching them as well at that position. So I wouldn't be surprised to see Riley Mills being treated as a 2026 draft pick because he's not really played this year, and then picking up some other positions. But who knows?
Big shout out to Jared Ivey as well, because actually he got on the field today, or on Sunday, sorry. Yeah. And yeah, I think with a bit more refinement, he could be a nice rotational answer at edge.
Yeah.
Rich, anything you want to say about this D-line and how the returning players could bolster it?
Yeah, well, I think the sky's the limit with Mike as a defensive-minded head coach, and those players who'll be missing, they're right up there in our team, aren't they? Like Spoon, Julian Love will be excellent. What an acquisition he was when we first got him in, but just look how much he's developed as well, even now. And with Bonnie Murphy, I'm just thinking this year we need him to step up a bit, considering it's a contract year for him. I'm thinking, we need to be more productive. He was a lot more productive previously than what he has been now. But I just think we need to see a lot more from him, to be honest. But in terms of that defense, it can go as far as we want it to go, really, because I think under Mike, we're in real safe hands. And just as Mitch mentioned, he coaches players, he makes them better. He don't pick many names up, do we, really, compared to some other big teams in the air who go for names. But I just like the way he coaches people who are not household names and turns them into like these beasts. It's come from everywhere now, don't they? So
yeah, agreed. I like that. Right. So, gentlemen, that was our Discord member musings. We've got a couple of comments that have come in. So, firstly, I just want to say a massive thank you to Thriller 3 Much, who is a new sub to the channel. So, thank you very much for joining us, Thriller. Watch when we're fully healthy and we get Riley Mills in action. Just like Mitch said. Seattle born fan here, new to the channel, and I'm subbed up now. Much appreciated, my friend. Really appreciate you. Go Hawks. Get yourselves in the Discord. Come and talk to us as well and share us with your friends. Bryce from the Hawkseye podcast. If you guys aren't sub to him, go and sub to Bryce as well. I'm going to say this as I think K-Mac missing is actually hurting the run game. My guy. Everyone who has followed this pod will know I'm a Kenny McIntosh believer, and I 100% believe that comment too. I think he offers just something that the other two don't. He's got the burst, he can hit through the A and B gap. He's also a fantastic pass catcher as well. I just think, having him back next year would be outstanding.
He's an angry runner, isn't he? And they're the best types.
Yeah, they're my favorite type. And then Thomas, who is back watching us now after a brief absence. Would you trade next year's first? I'm going to assume he means in exchange for a high caliber player. Mitch, the draft is your baby.
I would, and I usually hate when we give away our first because it's a big part of my favorite weekend of the year. The first night, I don't know, we're not picking unless we trade back in. However, as soon as you get to win now mode and you expect to be picking late, if you can get an X Factor player for your first round pick when you really need them in a position where you're thin, I think it's a serious consideration. And also, your first round pick, you expect a first round pick to hit the ground running. Late first round picks often still take a bit of time to bed in. They're not your they're not your immediate starting caliber players, and that is kind of what you need if you are contending. So nice to be talking about the Seahawks as contenders. Really, that's beautiful. But I do think a late pick when you are contending, seriously consider letting it go for the right player.
Completely agree. With that, gentlemen, I just want to say a massive thank you for anyone who's new to the channel. If you're watching this on your TV or computer, right above me there is a QR code that you can scan with your mobile phone. It takes you to our link tree. You can then go and like and follow us. I'll leave that up for a little minute, actually. Like and follow us on pretty much every form of social media. We are out there. You may just not have spotted us yet. Thank you, algorithms. You can follow us on Amazon, Spotify, iTunes, that one, and pretty much every podcasting app out there, and also YouTube. The biggest help that you could do for us is by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, sharing it with your friends, join the Discord, come and join the conversation, and you can chat to fantastic people like Rich and the king of the Discord, Mitch, who is always in there. We're always in there talking Hawks, having a great conversation. It's just a really good bunch. We're really proud of our Discord and the community that is growing. So get involved, scan that link, or the Linktree link is down below in the description. Rich, thanks so much for coming on, dude. We always appreciate having you on. It's brilliant.
Thank you for having me, guys. Always a pleasure.
That's right. Where can people find you on socials?
Yeah, just at Seahawks Wales. I'll be on there, but yeah, I just love it in the Discord as well. So I'm often in there. Yeah, you're in there as well. So
and you can follow him. The @ on X is down below as well for Rich, because
Brilliant.
We love having you guys on. But I will say from me, from Mitch, hopefully from Rich, thanks very much for joining us. And gents, it's going to happen. I can feel it in my bones. It is. I'm going to count us down from 3, and we'll say "Go Hawks" in unison. Okay, are you ready? 3, 2, 1.
Go Hawks!
Oh, God damn it. One day we'll get this. Right. See you later, everyone.